Good morning, students. This is Mahima Seth. Today we will discuss a very important topic, that is counters and accumulators. You must have seen that when we have to find some sum, or when we have to count numbers from a given range, at that point of time we declare certain variables, and those variables are called counters. Now see, counters and accumulators are not operators. They provide a general solution to the problem of counting and computing sum that can be used in many different situations. Counters, are the name suggests, are variables which are used to keep a count. It means counters are those variables which are specially declared while writing a program to count certain numbers according to the condition given in that program. Now, like in this program, we are counting numbers between 1 to 100 that are divisible by 7. So what we have done, we have declared a class just like public class counter, then public class demo counter. In this, what we are declaring, we are declaring a variable integer count is equal to 0. It means count is a simple variable whose data type is int and the value assigned to it is 0. Now with the help of for loop, we are initializing the variable I with the number 1 to 100. It means this for loop will continue from 1 to 100, and in this for loop we are placing a condition that if the number is divisible by 7 and the remainder is 0, then count the number, otherwise leave that number. So when I is equal to 1, it will first divide 1 with 7. Now 1 with 7, 1 cannot be divided by 7, so we will just leave this number and count will not get incremented. Again the loop will go up. Now I will become 2. Again it will check number by 2. Similarly, I will keep on moving from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 and 7. As soon as 7 is encountered, 7 when divisible by 7 gives us the remainder 0. So count will just increment and it will become 1. Again it will move to 8. Now 8 is again not divisible by 7. Then similarly 9 is not divisible by 7, and it will keep on moving to 14. As soon as 14 is encountered, 14 is again divisible by 7. When 14 is divisible by 7, the remainder is 0. Then again count will increment by 1 and it will become 2. And similarly the count keep on moving till 100. Now in this program, we are using the variable count as a counter. We first initialize it with 0. If the number is divisible by 7, we increment count value by 1. This way we use the variable count as a counter to find how many numbers between 1 to 100 are divisible by 7. Like the first count it will get at 7, the second count it will get at 14, the third count it will get at 21, the fourth count it will get at 28, and so on till 91. Till 91 it will get the count. Now accumulators. No, till 98, sorry, till 98 it will get the counter, because 98 when divisible by 7 it will also give the remainder 0. So till 98 it will initialize, it will increment. Accumulators. Now accumulators are variables which are used to calculate the sum of a set of values. Now suppose if we have given in the same program that we have to find the sum of those numbers which are divisible by 7. Then what will we do? We will assign another variable like sum, and what we will do, as soon as the count will increment, we will also calculate, or we will also add that number to a variable. This is accumulator. Now just see this program. Public class accumulator, public void demo accumulator, int sum is equal to 0. Now here in place of count we have declared a variable sum equal to 0. For int I is equal to 1, I less than 100, less than equal to 100, I plus plus. It means the for loop will initialize from 1 to 100. And if the number generated from I is divisible by 7 and the remainder is 0, then what it will do? It will just add that number to sum, that is sum is equal to sum plus I. First the number will generate 1 which is not divisible by 7, 2 not divisible by 7, and so on. It will move to 7. 7 is divisible by 7 and the remainder is 0. So the sum will become 0 plus 7 is equal to 7. And so on, it will move up to 14. 14 is again divisible by 7 because the remainder is 0. So what it will be do? It will again give an increment to the sum, and sum will become 7 plus 14 is equal to 21. And similarly, we will just keep on calculating till 98 and we will get a sum of numbers which are divisible by 7 between 1 to 100. Now in this program we use the variable sum as our accumulator. We first initialize it with 0. As we find more numbers divisible by 7, we keep on adding their values to sum. At the end of the for loop, variable sum contains the sum of all numbers between 1 to 100 which is divisible by 7. Now the next topic which comes is introduction to control statement. Students, you must have studied in class 9th also various control statements like if else, if else if statement and switch statement. In Java, we have two types of control statement. One is if statement and other is switch statement. Now, the control statement can be categorized into three categories: the selection, the iteration and jump. Selection, we use selection statement to choose different path of execution based upon the outcome of an expression or the state of a variable. Iteration means we use iteration statement to execute a set of statement repeatedly until some end condition is met. And jump statements are used to transfer program control to specific point in the program, as we have seen in for loop where int I is equal to 0, I is less than equal to 100, I plus plus. Now here I is equal to 0 is a selection statement, then I is less than equal to 100 is a iteration, and I plus plus is a jump statement. Now the first statement is if statement. Now if means that whether we want to do a particular thing or not. So Java provides two selection statement, if and switch. We will first look at the if statement followed by the switch statement. Now in our daily life we have to make certain decisions, like whether if it is cold I will wear jacket, if it is not cold I will not wear jacket, if it will be raining I'll carry a umbrella with me, or I'll wear a raincoat. If it will not rain, I will not carry an umbrella with me. So this is what if is. So when we have to declare if, we have to give certain condition along with the statement. If that condition is fulfilled, the statement will execute. Otherwise, the program will continue. Now next comes the if else statement. Now suppose we have to make decisions on the basis of more than one condition. In that we use if else statement. Like if that condition fulfills, then this particular statement will execute, and if that condition will not fulfill, then another statement will be there to be executed. Like many times we want to do one set of thing if some condition is true and a different set of thing if that condition is false. Building on our previous example, if it is raining, I will go to my office by car. Otherwise, I will go to by bike. Now here only one condition is there, that if it is raining. There are two statements. If it is raining, I will go to my office by car. The first. If it is not raining, then I will go to my office by bike. So this is statement 1 and this is statement B. Similarly, if it is a holiday, we will not go to school. Otherwise, we will go to school. So, to write if else statement, if condition, statement 1, else statement 2. Okay students, so just go through this video carefully and I will upload certain questions related with this video and do it as a homework. Thank you.